duo. So yeah, meron naman tayong isang math-hirap na topic para sa isang math-up at mathalino individual. So for this week, we have 8 videos, 4 for junior high school and 4 for senior high school. For grade 11, we have an additional in general mathematics and pre-calculus. While for grade 12, we have general chemistry 1 and general physics 1. So our topic is for grade 12, which is limiting reagents. So I hope na makikinig kayo because at the end of our video, we'll be having a little challenge. So yeah, without further ado, let's start. Enjoy! Okay, so our first topic for general chemistry 1 is limiting reagents. Limiting reagents, yun yung mga reactants na unang magagamit sa chemical equation. So, we have example number 1. Sa example number 1 natin, we have 12 grams of carbon and 64 grams of oxygen. So our equation is carbon mixed with oxygen will produce carbon dioxide. So if you are wondering kung ano yung mga letters dito sa baba, it indicates kung ano yung state of matter ng element. So carbon here is a solid. Dito naman yung oxygen is a gas. Tapos yung product daw is also a gas. Carbon dioxide na gas. So first, how will we know kung ano yung reactant, ano yung limiting reagent and yung excess reagent rather. So para makuha natin kung ano yung limiting reagent and excess sa mga reactant, kailangan natin i-convert etong dalawa, yung 12 grams and 64 grams into moles. Titingnan natin kung ilan moles yung 12 grams ng carbon at saka ilang moles yung 64 grams ng oxygen. So, we're just going to use 12 grams sa carbon multiplied by ang 1 mole ng carbon, ano yung molar mass. So, nasa periodic table of elements lang natin, which is 12.01 grams of carbon. So, meaning, sa kada mole ng carbon, meron tayong 12.01 grams ng carbon. So, we're just going to cancel this grams of carbon. So, we have 12 divided by 12.1 is also 1. So, equivalent to 1 lang din. So, 1 times 1, we have 1 mole of carbon. 1 mole of carbon. While for 64 grams of O2, oxygen gas, we're just going to multiply this to 1 mole ng oxygen gas. We have, yung molar mass ng oxygen O2 is just 2 times the molar mass of oxygen. Ang molar mass ng oxygen is 16 times 2 kasi dalawang atoms ng oxygen. So, 16 times 2, we have 32 grams of oxygen gas. So, itong grams per oxygen gas, pwede na natin makancel. 64 divided by 32, we have 2 times 1, we have 2 moles of oxygen gas. Meaning, sa 64 grams, meron tayong 2 moles ng oxygen gas. Sa 12 grams ng carbon, we have 1 mole of carbon. So, dito naman, since 1:1 yung ratio natin, sa kada isang carbon, makakakuha tayo ng isang oxygen gas para makagawa raw ng carbon dioxide. Therefore, kapag itong isang carbon na gamit na, mababawasan din tayo ng 1 mole ng oxygen gas. So, may matitira pang 1 mole, if ever. Kukuha na tayo ng 1 mole ng carbon. So, yung sobra, ito yung tinatawag natin na excess sa reactants, excess. Ito naman, yung unang mauubos sa chemical equation, yun yung tinatawag natin na limiting reagent. So, ang limiting reagent natin dito sa equation na to is ang carbon. Kasi yun yung unang naubos. Well, our excess is our oxygen gas. Our last number, which is letter B, how many grams of carbon dioxide will be formed from 12 grams of carbon and 64 grams of oxygen gas. So, kung ano yung limiting reagent, yun yung gagamitin natin sa formula, which is 12 grams. Si carbon. Kasi si carbon yung limiting reagent natin. So, 12 grams of carbon, we're just going to multiply this sa 1 mole. Kasi isang mole ng carbon, makakaproduce ng carbon dioxide, isang carbon dioxide. ano nga yung molar mass ng carbon? 12.01 grams per carbon multiplied by, so sa isang carbon na magagamit natin, meron tayong magagawa na isang carbon dioxide. So 1 mole of carbon dioxide divided by 1 mole of carbon. This is because sa isang mole ng carbon, meron tayong magagawa na isang mole ng carbon dioxide. Carbon, we have 12, di ba? Tapos si oxygen gas, we have 32. 32 plus 12, we have 44. 44.01. Kasi 12.01 si ano, di ba? Carbon. Grams of CO2. All over 1 mole of CO2. So, meaning, sa isang mole ng CO2, yung molar mass is 44.01 grams. So, pwede na natin makancel yung grams per carbon, mole per carbon, and mole CO2 sa mole CO2. So, yung matitira, yun na lang yung i-multiply natin. 12 divided by 12.01 times 1 times 44.01, we have an equivalent of 43.97 grams of carbon dioxide. So, meaning, sa 12 grams ng carbon, makakagawa tayo ng 43.97 grams of carbon dioxide. So, that is the end of our discussion, and for our challenge, assume that 6 grams of carbon and 2.1 grams of hydrogen are mixed and reacted to form methane. Identify the limiting reagent and excess reagent. Ayun po, sana po meron po kayo natutunan sa maliit na effort kong ito, and I do really hope po na sa pagbibideo ko ito naibsan po yung stress na nadarama ninyo. And if you do love my videos, don't forget to like and subscribe below. So ayun po, for next week we'll be having another batch of content, another 8 videos po for junior high school and for senior high school as well. So yun po, I hope that I will be seeing you next week. Bye-bye!